Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, AirSpeed Prime here with my next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episode review. And this one's going to be for episode 16, I believe, of season 1, and that episode is titled The Pulverizer, I think. I apologise in advance as I've only seen the episode once. Usually I watch it at least 2 times before I do these reviews, but I just didn't have time to watch it again. But I think this episode it wasn't as much depth, I suppose, to it. There was the kind of story of the Krang plot, and then the kind of more fun aspect of the Pulverizer and Donatello. So I don't think I'll be missing out on too much by not having seen it that many times. But I'll start with the continuation of the plot with the Krang, and obviously that one I think directly continuing from Leatherhead, in that it's the Krang wanting that power cell that Leatherhead had, that the Turtles now have back. So that's nice, and that we kind of have more of a goal for the Krang. Every single episode as it goes on, we get more and more of what the Krang are about and stuff like that. They want to get back to their dimension, and they need that power cell, and by the end of this episode they have it, I believe. So yeah, it's a really just I like the way that story's kind of coming out gradually. I was worried a few episode reviews ago that they were kind of just going to keep us in the dark for a long time, but I like that they're gradually giving us more and more, so that's nice. And then coming into, I suppose, the second part of the episode, I like the way they didn't just make the whole Pulverizer thing a secondary plot that was completely different from the Krang thing, and that they actually did link them both together, because the Pulverizer is kind of trying to help fight the Krang and stuff like that. And him as a character is another one that I actually liked. He could easily have come across as like the most stupid character ever, but and while he sort of did come across like that, there was this kind of genuine wanting to help the Turtles, and he is their fan, but also he kind of does have that, I suppose, hero kind of in him that you do kind of understand like where he's coming from in a way. So I think for him, what's really gonna like make or break him is if when he comes back, if he comes back and stuff like that. Like if he never comes back, this episode will go down in my estimation. But if he comes back, he could become a very interesting kind of recurring character, because he says he's going to continue his training. So what I really want to happen is for him to kind of come back the odd episode, like every like 4 or 5 episodes or something like that, gradually become better and better at fighting until he is kind of a pretty good ally for the Turtles to have. Like they need a kind of another human ally that can fight. April's kind of becoming that. You kind of get the hint that Karai may turn to that side, but nothing is confirmed yet. So it's definitely he was kind of one of the highlights of the episode, in that he brought a lot of humor to the episode, and it was interesting that Donatello, I suppose, was the one who was saddled with him to train him in. That like he was the one who the Pulverizer knew the least about, in that like he just said, and you're the strong silent type, and he knew everything about the others. And it's a very interesting thing, because Donatello has the kind of least amount of patience for people who kind of aren't as smart as him. So setting up this kind of moronic character almost with the smartest turtle was really clever in the end, that Donatello realized that this guy has that kind of hero within him. He wants to prove himself, and if no matter what Donatello says, he's going to try and fight the Krang regardless. So he's going to train him so he doesn't basically get himself killed. So it was a really clever way of explaining why he trained him, and I like the way that Splinter also kind of understood that as well. That was good, that he's just like, okay, that's good, but he's your responsibility. Splinter's not having any involvement in training him. And again, it's you sort of got the sense that towards the end of the episode he was going to do something big in the episode, but no, in the end Donatello saves him and makes the choice of him over the Power Cell because he obviously he's one of the hero characters. So they've definitely set it up that the Pulverizer owes the turtles something. So something important I think is going to happen next time the Pulverizer shows up. So yeah, I liked him. Unexpected, kind of. I was kind of very worried about the episode when he first appeared, but in the end, I really ended up really liking him. He's a kind of very different character from the more serious Karai who was just recently introduced. Um, the next talking point I have, it's kind of one of my last ones, is that we have struggling to think, the Shell Razor, obviously the introduction of that. Uh, as we know, built from the Leatherhead's kind of train cart and stuff like that. Using the Krang power cell to power it and the whole lead plating thing, that's why they can't find it. That was cleverly done. And I liked it when it was first introduced, the way you really got to see the turtles as teenagers, in that they're just like, we now have a car, and then they just kind of went for a joyride in it around town. The, this thing is the size of both lanes of the roads and stuff like that. It was an interesting thing, especially with like how Donatello had like planned out who was going to be in each position in the show race, and it's like Mikey and Raph were the first ones to go on driver, and then Donatello's like, no, Leo is, because he's the one least likely to hit something for fun, and that was a great line. Both of them are just like, I agree, and then like they put Raph on the kind of weapons systems. Mikey has just to give him kind of the more simple job of just like, okay, you tell us where we are, Mikey, and then Donnie kind of runs more of the tech stuff and the thing. That was even the positions in the Shellraiser were well done, and it was just a perfect kind of introduction for a vehicle within the Turtles world. It was just fun. I they definitely kind of set it up that's going to come back, and that they were pushing it back to the layer at the end. So you sort of wonder what they're going to power it with, given that they don't have the thing anymore. But I think overall this episode was very good in that it did advance the plot. It did have the more fun aspect that made it kind of a one-shot episode, but also set up stuff like the Pulverizer coming back. What are the Krang going to do now that they have the power cell, and Donatello with the Pulverizer, like his training and stuff like that. And of course the Shell Razor now, another thing that they have. We haven't yet to see one of the shots from the opening, I think, where Raphael gets fired out of the Shell Razor in a kind of a go-kart type thing. So are those two like vehicles going to get combined? That's going to be interesting. But so overall, yeah, good episode. Definitely excited for the next one now. I don't think I've even seen a preview or know what it's called, but I'm excited kind of as we approach the final few episodes of season one. So thank you for watching this review, and bye.